And my wife had to come to terms with the fact I'm public. And suddenly I realised what became a very personal thing for me became a very public thing for those who were close to me. I didn't appreciate the impact it would have on those around me. I thought it was all about me. It actually became all about everybody else. I was the selfish one. I was the one that caused this problem. I was the one that lied to everybody for years. I was the one that could have kept it in, could have pretended for longer. But I couldn't. I'd been living in this cage. I was let out on occasions to be, if I was allowed. It's like playing golf or going fishing. I was allowed to go out occasionally. But then every so often, my chain would be jagged and I'd be put back in that cage to behave as the father, as the husband. But I couldn't keep living in that cage. I needed to make these changes in my life. And that frustration, whilst a little bit drunk, overflowed into the world. So there we are on the 1st of March, not knowing my name. I had no job, no career, and no name. So why didn't I have a name? I didn't have a name because my wife and my family weren't ready for me to embark on the world with Joanne. They still wanted their husband, they still wanted their father. So I was in this turmoil that I couldn't go forward, I couldn't go back. So I was lying there thinking, what am I going to do with my life? If you get your resume out, the resume, the first line on the resume is name. My passport, my driving license were in my old name. I didn't want to go through all of this pain of changing who I was, only to paint myself back into a corner and carry on as I was. So I had to go forward, but my wife wasn't ready, my children weren't ready. It took me about a month before I got the courage to rename my LinkedIn profile. It took about the same amount of time to one day I woke up and I put on the top of my CV, Joanne Lockwood. But what I found was rather than the world treating me badly, the world kind of embraced me. I started going to networking events, I started coming to events like this. I started talking and speaking to people, meeting people. And what I realised was that all of the fear that I had was in my head. But I still had to face the problems with my wife, because my wife now had to explain to other people about me, and maybe she wasn't quite ready. She wasn't ready to take me to the company Christmas party. She wasn't ready to take me to the company barbecue because she was worried about how the company would judge her, just knowing me. My children had to overcome their embarrassment, telling their friends about my dad's trans. So simply coming out and telling the world wasn't easy, but it was hard for everyone around me. I've just walked around Gatwick Airport twice, like you do. And I noticed several trans people in the airport. One was on border control, one was just walking. Two of the cabin stewards were trans. So I spent a lifetime believing that being trans is secret, being trans is somehow dirty, a fetish in my head. But I believe in 2018 the world is now embracing and accepting who we are. And just in the same way that LGBT people had to overcome the challenges they faced 20 years ago, 30 years ago, well, that stigma that AIDS put on the world, and that people had to fight that stigma. I believe that trans is now coming of age. I was chatting to the taxi driver on the way here, and as is quite common, He says, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? When did you decide to be a woman? I stand up and I didn't decide. All I decided to do was do something about it. I've got in a cab in London, and you'd think London is a very cosmopolitan, seen everything sort of place. In Soho, got in a cab, the taxi driver said to me, I've never met a person like you before. So I kind of appreciate the world needs a bit of education. Many trans people don't like educating, they want to just be accepted. But to me, I think if you meet people, be authentic, be yourself, greet people with open arms, and people are welcomed, because generally, people are people, people respect people. We're all individuals, we're all different, we all like different things. So I'm glad you've welcomed me here today, despite the fact I'm 8 hours late, 9 hours late. It's always nice to be greeted with a red wine. That makes the journey worthwhile. So happy to take any questions, happy to chat with anybody this evening. Sorry, that's the red wine. Because to me, recruitment is seen as a real battle for trans individuals. We're very worried about how we're going to be accepted. I've been for job interviews, and I've met people, and their eyes, you can see them tilt backwards as you walk into the room. They go, I'm not quite sure how to deal with you. And very quickly they come round, but then they're thinking, this is a tough hire. I'm not the easy hire. I'm not the one that's going to be put in front of your best customer. But then I challenge you to think, well, what if your best customer has a diverse ethos? If your best customer happens to have a senior board member who's trans, maybe your best customer would turn around to you and say, wow, what a fantastic company. You meet our values. To see it as an asset, not as a negative. So I challenge anybody to see the positivity in everybody. For trans people, we tend to be very self-aware. We spent years self-analysing, years with anxiety, years with fear. And then when we're reborn, we have this positivity, we have this freedom about us. We have this can-do attitude because suddenly we're not afraid of the world anymore. What's the worst that you could do? Not like me? Yeah? Really? So let's have a beer, let's have a wine, let's have a chat. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave.